Next year is looking absolutely huge when it comes to open world games, and I feel that 2026 is just somehow going to be even busier than 2025. I don't know how I'll actually make time to play all of these games, but hey, we can at least have some fun trying. Today though, I'm going to be covering the 15 of the best open world games coming to Xbox and Game Pass next year, and this is only a slither of the fantastic open worlds we'll get to experience. With that though, my name is Fletcher, and this is Xbox Nation, and let's just dive right into it. Subnautica 2 is coming next year, and it's looking to up the ante for this franchise by actually introducing us with full co-op with our friends. It is also coming day one to Game Pass, which is just great to see. We've already seen some gameplay for this one due to some developer directs that they hosted on their own YouTube channel, and it's looking pretty solid overall. If you're like me then, you're probably really looking forward to diving back into the underwater world and just exploring as much as possible. We also recently got some new teasers and some brand new environments, including what appears to be the Subnautica 2 equivalent of the first game's Safe Shallows, and a bioluminescent underground area as well, and it's also including a few new aquatic creatures which we haven't actually seen before with this franchise. I'm just hoping this one does shape up well, especially after all the controversy this year, and is due sometime in 2026. I think in a twist that nobody really expected earlier this year, Pokemon developer Game Freak announced Beast of Reincarnation, and compared to other Pokemon games with their awful visuals, it looks absolutely incredible. I've looked further into this, and I'm loving the original showing, as this is a new action RPG set in post-apocalyptic Japan. The world here has also become consumed by a sort of corruption and overtaken by some cool and gross-looking formidable beasts. We take control of a protagonist called Emma, who is a cursed outcast, and she is joined by her lord dog named Ku. They will have to journey through a dangerous, ever-shifting world that demands precision, mastery of technical combat, and so much more, and it kind of gives me sort of Monster Hunter or even Wild Heart vibes every single time. The combat though does look a bit more action RPG orientated, such as Black Myth Wukong, which I kind of prefer, especially as I'm not a massive fan of Monster Hunter gameplay. Even so, this one comes to us rather soon, and it is also a day one Game Pass title. Really intriguingly, a brand new studio called Lightspeed LA is making a game known as The Last Sentinel, and it is set to be a slick cyberpunk themed open world game, and to be honest I've never heard of it before, but I'm incredibly intrigued. The game was announced by a cinematic trailer though during the 2023 Game Awards, and we haven't had much info since then other than a 2026 release date. The pedigree behind Last Sentinel is nothing to scoff at either, as it's actually being developed by an industry veteran named Steve Martin, who has over 25 years of experience including the likes of GTA 5, Red Dead Redemption 1 and 2, amongst many more. For what it's worth, it is said that the game will feature a unique cast, environment, story, and gameplay experience. It is kind of tough though to judge anything about the title at the moment, other than drawing obvious comparisons to other cyberpunk genre games like Cyberpunk 2077 alongside Deus Ex, and that's for their open world elements and the look and feel to the overall game's universe. I'm hoping we do see more before the release date, as this one could really be an absolute banger in 2026. Outbound is a really gorgeous open world exploration crafting adventure that is set in a utopian near future, where you basically start with nothing more than your empty camper van. You will then have to transform this humble vehicle into the home of your dreams as you explore vibrant, colourful biomes at your own pace, that being solo or with your friends. You have to of course scavenge for materials, craft innovative items, and build modular upgrades on and around your van whilst advancing technology to efficiently harness your energy. To me, Outbound looks to be a really promising and refreshing twist on the home building and exploration genre, and I'm really sort of digging that aesthetic that they're aiming for this one. You can look forward to this innovative survival title on Xbox Series X and S consoles and PC sometime next year. Now, who isn't excited about the return of Fable? This beloved franchise is finally getting a reboot and is in the hands of Playground Games, the same team behind the Forza Horizon series. Fable will still retain though all of its signature charm, humour and whimsical world building, while introducing a beautifully reimagined Albion for us to explore. I'm totally expecting all of the moral choices that affect your character's appearance and the world around you. It is of course going to contain a vibrant and living ecosystem that's full of oddball characters, and loads of quests that just can be approached in so many multiple ways. With the Xbox Series X and S now powering this new gem, this is shaping up to be the most immersive Fable experience we've ever seen, complete with stunning visuals and a world that is as quirky as it is dangerous. It looks great from the alpha gameplay that we've seen so far, and this is easily one of my most anticipated games of the next year. One of the more interesting releases though in the last few years was Atomic Heart, and the amount of attention it actually garnered prior to release was quite staggering. While the finished game didn't actually break loads of new grounds and was quite flat in terms of its characters, it was still a fascinating action game with a fair amount of promise to it. We finally have confirmation though that Studio Munfish will take another shot with a larger and more ambitious sequel with Atomic Heart 2. Just like the first game though, this game will be an action-adventure first-person shooter, but this time further expanding on the RPG and open-world elements. I'm really hoping they make the world even more vast and full of things to do, and ultimately they do work a bit more on making some memorable characters. There is no fixed release date for this one as of yet, but it is heavily rumoured and almost confirmed to be arriving in 2026. Alongside Atomic Heart 2 though, Mundfish are actually also bringing us a pretty unique game called The Cube, and this is essentially an MMORPG shooter that is set within the same universe of Atomic Heart. You may have instantly worked out what the game is about though, and yes, it is set within a massive Leviathan structure called The Cube. The developers are actually stating this ever-shifting environment will change constantly in real time, and it's looking like the real epicenter of increasingly dangerous phenomena. As you can see by what I'm showing you on screen right now, we are still getting the incredibly beautiful visuals that we come to expect from this franchise, and also all of the over-top action and bosses that we really love. I think this is going to be an incredible MMO if the devs can really nail that gameplay loop and actually implement some really outrageous moments. It seems awesome, but then again, it seems a way out, with rumours pointing to late 2026 for its release. I won't lie to you, I totally forgot that ArcheAge Chronicles was still coming out, and it has been a little while since I've actually personally heard anything about this one, but it's looking absolutely insane. This is again another MMORPG, and we're sure getting a few of these games landing next year, but this one is looking to dive into a seamless open world action game, but it kind of reminds me of Crimson Desert, but now on a multiplayer level. That means exploration across land, sea and air with dynamic weather, and also combat that looks insane but stupidly over the top and incredibly fluid. From what I've seen so far, it's really shaping up to be something truly special, but we just need to see something else before I can give it any more praise. There is a closed test due towards the end of 2025 and into 2026, but we at least did get a note that it will come in 2026 with a full release date after a short delay. I think one of the most popular releases of the next year is easily going to be Forza Horizon 6, as this franchise is easy to become one of the largest within the gaming industry. I do mention it from time to time, but I'm a massive Forza fan, and although 4 was my personal favourite, I really can't wait to finally get a chance to drive across Japan again. It's a location that so many of us fans have been asking for so many years, and with Playground Games still at the helm, it's already pretty much going to be a banger. Yes, we haven't seen any gameplay, and we do only have a short teaser confirming the game exists, but then again, I expect we'll see more towards the end of this year and into 2026 prior to its release. Are you excited for Forza Horizon 6? You'll have to let me know in the comments section below. You may be thinking though, Fletch, Dune Awakening has already been released, and although you are definitely correct, the game is only out on PC at this moment in time as the console ports were unfortunately pushed back to next year. This survival MMO basically throws you into the harsh deserts of Arrakis, as you come to expect, but basically every drop of water here is precious, and survival demands both your cunning and your strategy. You'll face tons of challenges though, ranging from massive sandstorms that can bury your entire camp, and then potentially deadly sandworms that just rule the dunes. The base building mechanics were an interesting mechanic, which really did allow many to create some cool safe havens amidst the treacherous terrain, and some of them looked pretty stunning. It's been pretty well received as well by many over at PC, and to be honest, I can't wait for the console release to arrive next year. Hopefully we don't have to wait long, but I do reckon we might see this within the first half of next year. If you love The Sinking City, well, I have some good news for you. The Sinking City 2 is still set to launch sometime next year. As per the first entry, this is going to be a story-rich survival horror game that is set in a Lovecraftian 1920s United States. It takes place in what's called the infamous city of Arkham, and is now plagued by a supernatural flood that's brought decay and eldritch monsters to its streets. The developers have basically stated on a few occasions now that you will face numerous eldritch abominations in combat whilst exploring a rotting city as rising waters change the landscape. Of course though, your discoveries will take you into some dark mysteries and have brought you in some very forsaken places. This will also be a standalone story that's separate from the first one, which is great to see, and it kind of has a promise as well of being a more in-depth experience and a lot darker within its tone. This sequel is a full-scale survival horror game with emphasis on combat and exploration in a larger open world, and I really can't wait to dive into this franchise once more. For me, I love a great fantasy RPG, and my love for games like Kingdom Come Deliverance 2 alongside The Elder Scrolls makes me yearn for another great sort of medieval-inspired game to come along my way. Well, Crimson Desert is arriving onto Xbox in early 2026, and as it stands, I feel like this could be a serious Game of the Year contender if they hit all the right notes. In terms of a single-player experience alongside the world side and the detail, it's just absolutely mind-blowing. The Zelda receptor in my brain reacted again when we got to see some climbing, as you can literally scale anything, even enemies, and then just jump off the floating worlds that rest in the clouds. The world of Crimson also looks incredible alongside the combat though, and the really interesting story that Pearl Abyss are piecing together actually seems pretty intriguing. This one actually comes out in March, and I really can't wait for it. A lovely surprise that seemingly came out of nowhere was from publisher NetEase. They only announced as of a couple of months ago now an incredibly ambitious looking AAA title in development for both PC and consoles, and it's called Blood Message. It's all meant to be part Assassin's Creed Shadows and part Tomb Raider, and it's aimed to be a narrative driven linear action adventure game. It is also being developed by the team behind Nakara Bladepoint, which is pretty weird to see, but it's looking mighty impressive from what I've seen so far. From what we've seen, we got a nice showing of a nice mix of action and cutscene work across a roughly sort of 5-minute length. I'm not entirely sure what's gameplay and what's not within that trailer, but it also looks believable enough and rather enticing. I am looking forward to hearing more details about this one, as they are a little sparse at the moment, but I will drop you more on this once more details do drop. I don't really need to ever mention it, but of course you already know that GTA 6 is going to be the largest video game release of all time. The last GTA broke $1 million in the first 3 days of its release, and that was all the way back in the 360 and PS3 era, so a new entry is just long overdue at this point. I can't unfortunately put up any trailers on the screen, as Rockstar are pretty evil when it comes to copyright claiming, and that's if anything to do with any of their footage, but I'm pretty sure all of you kind of know what the trailer looks like by now. The two new protagonists though, Lucia and Jason, do look pretty awesome, and it really gives me a sort of Bonnie and Clyde vibe to the entire experience. If this world is anything like we've actually seen in the trailers though, this could be one of the best looking open world games that we've ever seen. We do have the release date this May, and I'm just praying they don't delay it any longer. Outward 2 is looking like a cracking sequel to the cult favourite RPG, and if you somehow haven't played the first game, definitely give this newest entry a chance if you can. The game actually takes the punishing mechanics of the original but dials them up to 11, immersing you in the unforgiving world of Uri. Every choice matters here as per the first entry, whether that's deciding which supplies to take on a journey or just how to handle a confrontation with your dangerous foes. With stuff like hunger, thirst and fatigue that's constantly looming, preparation is key to this experience as we saw with the first game. Combat in that instance though does actually demand precision and planning, and the expanding crafting system lets you tailor your tools and gear to specific challenges. The sequel introduces some brand new regions as well, filled with mysteries to uncover, dynamic NPC interactions and co-op options that deepen the gameplay experience. If you're drawn to immersive survival RPGs where every decision shapes your journey, then Outward 2 is the game you can't afford to miss in 2026. What open world game are you looking forward to diving into in 2026? You'll have to let me know in the comments below. Remember again to smash that like button if you did enjoy, and subscribe for more Xbox content and updates every single day. Whilst you're here though, and if you do want to check out another one of my videos, why don't you check the one out on screen right now? I recently covered a huge sale going on in the Xbox store right now, and there's a few games you definitely need to pick up as soon as possible.